homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today I want to talk to you about a mistake that I made. It was a mistake. I'm not too terribly worried about it. Now, I was looking for some flashing to make a raised garden bed, and it was just so much at the hardware store that I just took and went to a local flea market. I thought I might find some. Well, I was going through the flea market and I came across this. Now, I don't know if y'all know about American canners. They're probably the most expensive canner that you can buy, but they're a lifetime investment. Now, I came across this. It's probably a 1940s or a 1950s, maybe even a 60s model. I thought it was a canner, but I was wrong. So it can't be used as a canner. This is an all-American autoclave, or in other words, a sterilizer. It was probably used in a dentist's office or a veterinarian or something like that for sterilizing instruments. So I'm going to take just a minute to show you the difference between a all-American canner and an all-American sterilizer. I didn't realize that there are so many of these still out there. All-American still sells a portable sterilizer that looks just like this, looks just like their canners. So I'm going to show you what makes the difference. Now, I learned all of this information after I'd already bought this, but I only spent $20, so it's not a big deal. But I've got an autoclave if I ever have to sterilize something. So let's look at the differences. Okay, just like all American canners, it has these screw downs. That you can take the pressure off of. Of course, it twists a little, and then it can come off. And if you look down in here, it had a jar rack, or what I thought was a jar rack. So, if this is not a canner, then what is it? Well, I've got my All-American sticker right here. The number is kind of wore off, so you couldn't tell about the number. But what gives it a dead giveaway is this. Let me turn around there where you can see it. This lets the steam off. You pull it up and that lets the steam out. You put it to the side and that lets the the sterilizer pressurize. Now this gets up to a lot higher pressure, up to 30 psi. See this gauge right here, and here's another dead giveaway. If you look at this gauge, and I'm going to try and bring you a little closer and put a little more light on it. I'll use my phone light. Now, this gauge only has a green section over here. Okay? At 30 psi, it goes up to 274 degrees. So this gets way hotter than a normal canner. The pressures, of course, the pressure gauge goes from 0 to 30, and it starts at 20 at its highest temperature, which is 259 degrees at 20 psi. So this gets a lot hotter than a pressure canner. Now, could you use it as a pressure canner? Maybe in an emergency, but also it has a safety release valve right here, and this safety release valve, of course, is above 30 psi. Okay, where your normal canner at 30 psi, that would be blowing off. So this is a little bit different, and let's talk about that for a second. Now, this All-American sterilizer, autoclave, it could be used as a canner, but you'd want to change out the stuff here. You'd want to change this to a weight, and you'd want to change your safety valve, and you'd want to change the pressure regulator, the pressure gauge. But American Canner does not recommend that. I don't know why. I'm sure their engineers have a reason. So I wouldn't recommend that anybody try and convert one of these old American sterilizers over to an American Canner. I think you're going to cause yourself more problems than a little bit. Now, as far as buying an all-American canner, Crystal and I want one. We've got a large Presto canner. We'd like to have an all-American. We just haven't been willing to shell out $300 and some to do that. $400 probably for the bigger canner that we want, maybe $5. So we just haven't been doing that. But if you run across one of these old pressure sterilizers, you'll know now, like we didn't know, that this part here with the little, instead of having a weight, it's got just this little thing here that flips up and down to release the pressure. And the pressure gauge goes all the way up to 30, and all the way up to the 30 it shows green. So it's made to go up to 30 psi. Okay? So it's made to go up that high, because you need to get things sterilized, especially some bacteria that can handle high temperatures, more so than the bacteria that we can. This is for medical purposes or any other purpose that you might come across. And no, I'm not going to sterilize dirt in it. This is just too small a vessel for me to do that. But I've got a method for sterilizing dirt, and I'm going to show that to you in a few more videos away. Now, if you like this stuff, this homestead, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homestead stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now, if you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. Now, with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.